stars in the trees, soft winds weaving through the leaves. The sun bends low to kiss the seas. Wonder, keep moving on. Every shadow leads to dawn. Find your place where you belong. Wanderer, keep moving on.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Twin Flames Between Worlds podcast. My name is Tabitha.
And I'm Liesl.
And welcome to our first mini episode of Season 6, The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. We have a very special, hopefully reoccurring guest, Claire Erickson, today here with us. Yay!
Welcome, Claire.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back.
One of our top fans, are one of our good friends now, ever since the last episode for sure, hitting up about different books we're into, very active in our Discord community, like a rock star for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Compliments.
Right?
like when someone says I'm pretty, I'm like, yeah.
No, I'm not. Stop it. Well, keep going.
But then there's also me, take the fucking compliment.
Yeah.
Hypocrites, all of us.
It's also, we're explicit, by the way. Great segue. Please be wary of little listening ears because we are going to cuss in this episode, in all the episodes.
Yep, always. Always cussing.
So our sponsor for today's episode is Tona Activewear. Tona, founded by one of Lululemon's original designers, is a premium line of leggings. Designed for women who train hard, they're moisture wicking and fit perfectly. Customers say it's like a push-up bra for the butt. And they're the best black leggings you'll ever need.
Can I just say something about Lululemon, though? So, actually, I did not know this before, but so basically this past weekend, me and my parents went to a women's hockey game, and very hot. It was a really good game. Then during one of the breaks in between, I think it was the second and third period, me and my mom walked around the arena trying to look for merch so I could get a hockey jersey.
Okay.
And we found the merch store that had all of these different things, and they were all Lululemon brand. So it was you had a tumbler, you could get a Stanley, you could get all of these shirts and leggings and stuff. I might have even seen these Lululemon leggings that we're sponsoring.
Okay.
So anyway, that's a connection I did not have before, but I do now. So
it felt kind of good in that way to see it. It's
all of the fabric was really soft. Lululemon fabric is soft.
They're good. And they're for plus size people as well.
Yes.
Because we said, we would never do leggings that
only for skinny bitches.
We couldn't. No, those skinny bitches.
I'm sure you skinny bitches are wonderful people, but you're skinny bitches.
Claire, have you noticed she's turned into me at all?
I know, I'm getting super loud and saying bitches a lot.
I love how that's my influence, is bitches and getting loud.
I'm glad to see,
Well, that's why I got Claire's hello, hello, even though, yes, it is Moore's, it's coined as Claire's now. It's just know, Claire, the Tabiisms are going to happen to you. You're going to start doing them if you haven't already. So just be prepared for that. So there's also another specialness about this episode. We will be talking spoilers. So if you didn't watch our first 5 seasons and you're just watching our Throne of Glass coverage, this is spoilers for the entire Throne of Glass world. All 8 books. Mm-hmm. Well, caveat, me and Claire know everything in Throne of Glass, but Liesl is the one person that is only in Tower of Dawn. We have to say it, dude.
I know. It's such a rarity that me as a co-host doesn't know the series we're going into. Well, not all of it, but no, I definitely take that fault there, but that's okay.
Yeah, so we're going to talk everything up until Tower of Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited. It's one of those things where this world is, not that ACOTAR wasn't expansive, but you got 8 books versus 5 books.
Yeah.
There's just more to it, and they get longer each and every time, and I think Throne of Glass is very well written, sometimes very undermined in the Sarah J. Maas world. Everyone talks about Crescent City or ACOTAR, and they're all valid. Mm-hmm. But Throne of Glass is an OG. sort of.
I mean,
thing.
technically, Throne of Glass was the first Sarah J. Maas books, like, series that I read. Like, I read the first 3, well, 2.5 books. I don't even count Assassin's Blade, but I read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Heir of Fire.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
I still get mixed up on the names, and that's because, like, that I don't know it as well as Tabi. But I read 2.5, and then I stopped because I was, like, really just not into it at the time. Who would have thought that years later I'd be back into SJM?
So, Claire, where did you go about from your Throne of Glass journey? Was it after ACOTAR, or?
Yes. And actually, so in the last episode I was on, I talked about the former friend who introduced me to ACOTAR, and she was also the person who told me about Throne of Glass. It was kind of interesting because I remember initially she read through ACOTAR, and then I think I had started it at that point, and she was talking about trying to find other books to read, and she ended up just rereading ACOTAR because she liked it so much. And at some point she got into she started or tried to read the first book or something and wasn't into it, but then I can't remember the timeline exactly. It came up again, and she was like, I think you would really like it. And this is gonna sound so weird, but I think in simple terms of like why I waited so long, because I really did think there was a chance that I wouldn't read any of SJM's other books. And spoiler alert, I'm actually on the first Crescent City now, so I am officially like, I've dipped my toes in the water of everything.
You're
in the
Maasverse.
Yeah. But this is going to sound so ridiculous, but I felt like I would maybe be like cheating on ACOTAR, which does not make sense because in between ACOTAR and the first Throne of Glass book, and even between Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, I read non-SJM stuff, and it's like by the same author. But I loved ACOTAR so much, and I mean, I still do. I would hear some people talk about loving Throne of Glass more, which at this point I still think I love them both and feel for different reasons. But I don't know why that scared me so much. And then finally, in May of 2024, I ordered the first book in that series and the first Crescent City book. January of last year, on the 2nd, I started the first Throne of Glass book, and then just kind of throughout the year read the series. I think I'd finished by November. So I fell in love with it, obviously. And I think there's certain things that I've just found so intriguing about it, also because of ACOTAR, as you both know. But it's a lot of fun in its own way, for sure.
It was the first time that there was another series written by the same author that I couldn't choose one or the other. You're very much right in the sense of, and very correct, about one series. They're both great and they're both faves, but in different ways. And like, I'll have an ACOTAR phase in a moment. I'll have a Throne of Glass phase where I'll remember, like, because again, I've had these since 2018. So I've kind of gone back and forth, which is what you guys will be doing probably in your foreseeable future. I love how I'm the wise woman being like, oh, you guys will come back, at certain random moments. I'll be reading a new book. So like, right, Quicksilver, and then I'm coming back to the Throne of Glass. You know what I mean? And I honestly, Claire, it's not weird what you said about feeling like you're cheating. I kind of felt the same way. And I've never said it like that or phrased it like that. But when you say that, it's actually real, because I was thinking when I first picked it up, I was like, this isn't going to be as good. Like, I did one book series and it's not like, it's the next one, but I don't think it's going to be. And then it just blew my mind. So, you're not weird at all.
But I definitely agree with that as well. I think actually it was kind of opposite for me at first in a way of Throne of Glass, because I'd read it before, and then, Tabi introduced ACOTAR to me. It's like, oh, Sarah J. Maas, I've heard that author before. Well, I wasn't really into her other series, so I probably won't be into this one very much. Little did I know, but
Yippers.
It definitely feels weird for me as well, switching between book series, because I struggle to keep the worlds apart. I mean, and maybe in this case with SJM in particular, it's not so bad struggling to keep the worlds apart. But like, I'm always like, when I'm trying to talk about one book series, I accidentally bring up another like character from like Throne of Glass, for example, when I'm talking about ACOTAR, and like I mix them together so much in my head that sometimes it's like blah, 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 blah. I suppose, yes, it's fair that like SJM series and the Maasverse, not a bad thing necessarily to mix things up.
Because they could all be connected. We don't fucking know yet.
Exactly.
So leading into that, I think also what Liesl journey with Throne of Glass is the reason why I put Assassin's Blade first. There will always be people's differing opinions, but I feel like there's a genuine, when you read Throne of Glass, you think of Selena as this very stuck up, rich, like, you don't get her backstory, but that's also kind of the point. She's supposed to be very complex in a way of, like, you meet her in, you know, in Dovier. How'd she get herself there? Like, the first scene is them going to Kael and Dorian going to get her in Dovier. It's we don't know anything about this person, but at the same time, like, it's also a little confusing. There's no world set up. For some people, that's good. Some people like the mystery of it. If you're someone like me, I fucking hate that because I want to know, like, where I'm at in the space, who these people are, what their affiliation is. And so another big reason why I think Assassin's Blade should go first is it kind of sets up the world in, like, little mini ways. We're starting in the Assassin's Keep, then we're going to this place in the islands with the Pirate Lord, then we're going to this place in Fenharrow, and then we're at the Silent Assassins, we're back in Rifthold. Like, we're getting also sprinkles of the world in her narration as we go. It sets up her roundedness, and, like, people don't dislike her as much when they read Throne of Glass. They're like, oh my god,
and
this
it
girl
also
is...
kind of sets up the world as well, just because she's traveling so much.
Yes. Claire, what order did you read it in?
Okay. So I went, for the most part, based on the order on her website, which has the first two books and then Assassin's Blade, and then everything else I did pretty much the same. However, the one difference was I kind of did my own version of the tandem read for, suddenly I'm blanking on the names, Empire and Tower of Dawn.
Yeah.
And so because initially I wanted to try it, but I was aware that I think there is somewhere where those chapters are, like, it's listed somewhere, I think, from my understanding, but that did sound a little bit too overwhelming. And so what I ultimately ended up doing was reading part 1 of Empire, part 1 of Tower of Dawn, finishing Empire of Storms, and then finishing Tower of Dawn, just because I knew that they did take place at the same time. And I probably, for a reread, would keep that. I would also read Assassin's Blade first, second time around.
There we go.
It's such a heated debate amongst the community, which is, we will go, like, into Empire and Tower, because that one I will argue all day about. And no one will change my mind. But not, like, again, everybody can read the way they want to. I mean, it's my podcast, so I get to, like, put it in whatever order I want.
Right.
In the sense of, like, because I know this series a little bit better than Liesl in this moment. But also, I think that Liesl does agree. It wasn't just a dictator's decision. Just want to let y'all know that.
You're saying that is you're like, it's my podcast. I can put it however I want. I'm going to be a bitch about it. Well, no, you make the decision like that.
Well, you know what's funny is I include you in my. It's cute because when I think of my, I think you're with me.
Aww.
But it comes across to, like, other people, if they don't know me, they're like, oh, this is a bitch.
What a bitch.
It's like, no, but I think of you as me. Anyway.
Yeah, for all of our listeners out there, she can be bitchy, but she's not a bitch.
Imagine it coming out now, like, oh my god, Claire just comes out as a big fucking Diana-esque memoir where she's like, oh my god, I would talk to her all the time, and just Tabi is such a bitch. Like, she doesn't listen to anyone. She's a real diva. I'm gonna get canceled so early on in my career.
Before it's even taken off.
Right. But that's how big this debate is, like, in Throne of Glass, that, like, people care about where it goes. And how you should read it. And I think that I'm not going to hate someone that read the Assassin's Blade later. I just think that they're, especially giving it to someone for the first time, I think there's a beautiness in the unknown, but no. Big, again, spoilers for people who didn't listen to the intro. Sam's death is, like, one of the most impactful parts of Selena's first part of her life before she becomes Aelin.
I mean, like, literally, it's like the quote at the beginning of, like, Throne of Glass of, like, I will not be afraid. Like, you don't know where that comes from unless you read Assassin's Blade first.
Yes. There's a beautiness in the fact of, like, we know about that going in. So all these interactions between Kael and Dorian, all these, like, honestly, it makes sense why she doesn't want to love so easily or kind of give these guys the time of day in terms of romance.
I mean, considering what happened to her last boyfriend, yeah.
And someone that she, even at the end, couldn't say I love you to him until it was too late.
Yeah.
It's like, not only was Sam... she had the same problem. I will say that, I don't want to get too off the mark here, but that clock scene when Arabin comes and tells her, like, and you just hear, like, because there's no graphic audio yet.
Right.
Annoying. I just imagine, like, Arabin telling her this stuff and her zoning out, and I just hear the clock tick in the background of, like, he's dead. And she's like, I've literally been sitting here on my ass for like 4 hours waiting. And it's so much more impactful than hearing it later. Because especially there's moments in Crown of Midnight where she does bring up Sam to Chaol.
Yes.
Like they have, oh my God, what's that? I'm blanking. What's that guy's name? The guy who kills him.
Oh, Rourke Farron?
Yes. Thank God. Claire, godsend. Farron dies in Crown of Midnight for under some mysterious reason. And no. Background. No. She finds out that Farron is dead. That Farron died almost like a couple, very quick after she got sent to Endovir. Then she finds out the behind the scenes with Wesley and all that. So I think it's way more impactful to know that going in versus like, I could just imagine me reading Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight again and not knowing anything. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? Who are these? Like, who's this?
Why is this random guy getting brought up?
Yeah.
Also, the character of Archer. Not that Archer was in the Assassin's Blade at all, but the idea of what the courtesans were.
Yeah.
Assassin's Blade sets up almost this, well, not even bringing up Lysandra, regardless. It's bringing up the courtesans and the assassins and how they're kind of like two sides of the same coin, just one in the bed and one like out fighting.
Yeah.
So it's like, when I heard about, even though we didn't know who Archer was, like, we kind of got it. It's like, oh, honestly, I was kind of thinking he was a Sam. What Sam would have ended up like if he wasn't an assassin. And so, like, that triggered me as well, because I could tell that triggered her.
Sam's death was hard. It was so hard.
So, that being said, there's so many nuances to the Assassin's Blade that even just you're bringing up Sam are peppered through Throne of Glass. And I've even just remembering a part in Throne of Glass where Dorian, I think they're playing pool at one point.
Yeah.
And she brings up that she lost something because he prods her about it. And it's like, I feel like as a reader, that would just hit me way harder knowing those events.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you know what she's talking about. It's like, I know that and I'm upset too. I can feel you.
Because we got to sit with her during those, 4 hours where we're going to get out, babe. We're going to get out of this. We paid our way out. We're leaving.
One less gig.
And then her whole world gets changed and fucked.
Yeah.
So that being said, there are even just so many other instances where we meet these other characters who come up later. Ralph, the Lord of the Pirates, not the King. We get to meet Irene, who's also a big character at the end. I mean, we do meet Lysandra in the Assassin's Blade. We also meet Ansel of the Briarcliff.
Yeah, which that keeps getting referenced throughout of like this red-haired woman sitting on a throne off in a distant city. Like the only reason I know who that is because of Assassin's Blade.
And maybe it's because I'm someone who very much remembers this kind of shit. I could understand maybe someone getting to Empire and then seeing Ansel again and they're like, wait, who's that? And that's why someone would have the Assassin's Blade maybe further in. I actually thought it was way more epic to be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. That guy's from the first book. Like
the real first book.
Yeah, well, the real first book.
Right.
It's so fun because I do remember like moments with, I mean, I'm just talking, I'm just shit talking now, but like about Sam and like, especially in Crown of Midnight, because like Throne of Glass is set in Rifthold, like it's set in the castle majorly, and then Crown of Midnight is kind of where she's allowed to go out.
Right.
And we have those moments in the street, and I feel like it's more impactful to me because we know like she's hardened in the streets, and it's like it's been 2 years since she's been out in them.
Right.
so, it's just so nuanced.
I'm definitely trying to, like, remember a lot of, I mean, obviously, like, as we are going through our deep dive and whatnot, I'll be able to reread it, all the stuff, but it's like, I'm trying to remember, like, specific things related to Assassin's Blade. I can't quite remember if we see the Styrian horses again?
Yeah, we do.
Is that in Empire?
I think the Asterian horses kind of get brought up throughout. I think even in Ground of Midnight, like, because Dorian gives her an Asterian horse. And then she even brings that up. When she talks to him, she's like, I stole an Asterian horse once from a lord.
I do remember that. I just didn't remember if we, like, saw their Asterian horses again.
I think we do. Aelin eventually does get her horse back. I don't know about Ansel, but I have to remember. That all being said, there's so many characters, so many nuanced things when reading it for the first time that I wouldn't have known reading it where it's supposed to be. And I guess I could see the point in that, but I also really don't, because I don't think Sam's death is impactful. I'm just going to say it, because we know he's dead. And so there's a level that, like, when it's coming, you know it's coming. By the end of, if you read it in where it's supposed to be. Versus reading it as someone who doesn't know, they're not going to kill one of the main guys off. No.
Because he is a main guy at first in the Assassin's Blade.
Psych.
He seems like a main guy. Yeah. But it's like,
Psych.
no, he just lasted 5 novellas and that was it. Now he's dead.
Sam.
Tortured to death specifically.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Brutal death.
That was brutal.
I mean, that almost was a good way to have it, though. Because, you know, obviously, Tabi warned me ahead of time that, you know, ACOTAR was a bit more plush, a bit more soft in terms of, like, its descriptors and stuff, versus Throne of Glass is more realistic. And so it was like, what a way to start off of, like, well, one of these, what I'm thinking as a main character has just been killed off in a extremely brutal way. That is very, very different from what we've seen in ACOTAR. What the fuck? Like, that was kind of my first reaction at first, and I remember I'm like, wait, he's dead? The fuck? Tabi, how could you do this to me?
With being how PG this book series is, and considering, like, it's not as raunchy as ACOTAR, it's definitely way more descriptive of the violence elements of it. So I didn't want to interrupt you, Claire. Was there something you wanted to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say I have heard of 2 other reading orders in terms of Assassin's Blade that people have shared. So one was really not that much different than mine. I guess they read the first 3 books and then read Assassin's Blade. But then I heard from someone else who had read through the series. So they finished, like, the main books. And they're like, yeah, I finished the series and I cried, and then I read Assassin's Blade and I cried again. So that's another way that you could do it, I guess.
Well, okay, that part, first of all, Tabi, when was Assassin's Blade released? Like, release order? Was it released after the 3?
Was released, I think, after Queen of Shadows.
Okay, so it was definitely, like, released, like, later on.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can understand kind of the reading it at the end after all the books, just for one single reason, which is that the Kindle book, the Kindle package book that has all 8 books in it, it has the Assassin's Blade at the very end.
Oh.
So, I mean, so when I'm, like, scrolling through my Kindle as we're, like, recording, like, these episodes and stuff, I'm like, oh, right, I had to scroll all the way down past all of these 7 books to get to Assassin's Blade.
Which is so funny because, like, Claire, there are so many different orders that I've heard people do it. I've heard people do it after Crown of Midnight. I've heard people do it after Heir of Fire. I've heard people do it after Queen of Shadows. The ones who are truly to the publication order. Because the whole big debate that I've heard about is that Queen of Shadows has that scene where she goes to Sam's grave.
Oh, yeah.
And when she comes back after becoming Aelin, right? To tell him that, you know, you would have been a great king. We all had, like, a fucking ball on that. At least I did.
You would have been a great king.
And it's like, some people are, that makes that scene more impactful, you know, knowing, or after Heir of Fire, and then doing Queen of Shadows. So, you know what? It's like, however someone wants to do it, I really just think that all of that just causes it to me way more impactful at the beginning. Because you don't know. I don't know, there's a level of, like, surprise to me that happened versus, like, me knowing going in that this is going to be bad. Because we all would have known.
Yeah, I actually was, so for people who don't know, I'm in my last semester of grad school and I'm still able to have, like, student jobs despite being like a grad student versus undergrad. And so I've been working in the on-campus coffee shop since I started. And in between customers, I've done a lot of reading. People had a lot to say about the size of Kingdom of Ash when I was reading. Like they would ask, is that for school? Is that for... It kind of felt like having a baby and having people comment on it. Like, oh, he's so big. Like, but anyway.
He's so big.
I also was reading Assassin's Blade. That was one of the places that I read it in between customers. And I was in the last novella right before Sam's death, actually. And the customer was like, oh, that was a really good book. And I almost told her, like, I know, and something really bad is about to happen, and I know, but they don't know. And like, but yeah, very intense coffee shop.
Oh my God. That's
Everything happens in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Everyone hates me for doing it this way, in the sense of like, they'll be like, Tabitha, why'd you do this to me? And it's like, I do it for your own good, okay? Like, get it out of the way and like done and sad, and then you guys can like deal with the cheekiness that is Throne of Glass. I think it's also just, there's so many hints to, or not like just even moving from Sam's death, Selena herself as a character. We don't see Arobin until Queen of Shadows.
I know, he just disappears.
People forget about that he's such like an impactful character to her growing up, that we do not see him at all until
if
later.
I went and didn't read Assassin's Blade first, would have like no real idea about who Arobin is.
Yeah, there's like a level that he hangs over her. Like you could even tell it in Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. There is this, he still runs the city. At any point, there's like there's eeriness that we as the reader have when or especially Crown of Midnight, because as I was telling Liesl off camera, like Throne of Glass is all set in the glass castle. Like they don't leave. We don't get perspectives outside of Rifthold. So when Crown of Midnight happens, there's more of like are we going to see him? Is he going to pop up? We know that he runs that city. So there's a level of eeriness that we have that another reader wouldn't have. And so I like that tension there. Or even Lysandra, because like we could just know, like, are we going to run into one of these characters that we know about?
Yeah. I can't remember whether it's Throne of Glass or Crown of Midnight, but because I hadn't read Assassin's Blade yet. But so the other thing that I will say about like waiting as long as I did to like get to read her, Throne of Glass, but also be engaging with ACOTAR content. So naturally you're going to see Throne of Glass stuff too, is I already knew a lot of the names. And so people kept talking about Lysandra, and she's actually one of my favorite characters, I would say. But I was just so intrigued by that. And there's like one line in one of the first two books where it's like, she also didn't want to run into Lysandra, a courtesan, blah, blah, blah. And then we get, of course I got the lore reading Assassin's Blade next, and I was so intrigued because she really doesn't play that big of a role in that book, but I was just like, wow, there's a lot to unpack with like Selena does later on with her, Lysandra, and Arobin.
Yeah.
But I know it's messed up, but it's like so fascinating too, just how it plays out from a psychological standpoint.
Because it's like, it's fun because all Assassin's Blade is like the death of her innocence and like the birth of her as like the cutthroat assassin that we see Dorian and Kay all see her as.
I mean, literally, Sam was Aylin's heart. Or Selena's heart, I guess.
Selena's. Well, because
that's who she was at the time.
People do say that like Sam was Selena's mate whilst Rowan is Aylin's mate.
Can I talk about that plot twist for a minute? I know I've told you this.
You mean like the Empire of Storms, the bullshit that was that ending, you mean?
Or no, the Selena's identity.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, sure.
So the other thing about waiting to read, a series is you're also, you get spoilers, and I open myself up to that because it's like I am engaging with ACOTAR content. And so a lot of those people are also fans of Throne of Glass. And if they're making, little skits about ACOTAR, they're probably going to make, skits or like, give spoilers for other things.
Yeah.
But for me, that was spoiled in a way that I wasn't expecting. Because innocent little me is watching an interview with Sarah J. Maas herself. And I was there for the ACOTAR stuff. But of course, she had another series out. It was, Throne of Glass. I think this was pre-Crescent City. So she has 2 series out. So she's going to talk about both of them with the interviewer. And she casually says something like, yeah, I use Selena or Aelin depending on, like, what time it is. Sorry if that spoiled it for anybody. I'm like, it's fine.
It's fine. Not like I needed that.
Yeah.
Why do you think I have to put fucking people on lockdown when, like, we're reading these books? Because I'm like, if you even look up on a wiki just for someone's name, it's like, oh my god, you're gonna spoil everything. Aelin Galathynius, the heir of fire, the da-da-da. It's like, wait, she has magic? Wait, what?
But it was...
I think... Go ahead, Claire.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying, it was kind of funny, though, when I read Crown of Midnight, when she tells, you know, Kaelin Dorian, like, Aelin Galathynius is dead. It's like, you liar. Like, no, she's not.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, I think at the time I read it, I really didn't see it coming, even though, like, Assassin's Blade throws all the fucking hints in there that it wants to. Like, every book, there is a reference to the stag. Or I looked north and I felt like home, or something like that. She references it each time. And
yeah,
I should
the northern wind, or the stars, and the cold.
Should have known, but I didn't.
I feel like Throne of Glass is, at least from what I've seen, it's the most spoiled, like, series that I've ever heard of. And I mean, and I say that having been spoiled myself. I mean, luckily I don't remember any of the spoilers, but that was the reason that I stopped reading Throne of Glass in the first place. You know, I wasn't super excited about it, but then also, well, partially because at the time, you know, my dad actually told me to read it, and because he had read the first 5 books, and I was just like, I don't want to read something that my dad read. That seems weird. And he's like, yes, it's a young adult novel, and, you know, there's masturbation in it, and periods, and I'm like, you want me to read it because of that? But anyway,
priorities, like,
but right. But anyway, I mean, I have convinced him to go back and read Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash now. Those were the 2 he didn't read. But where I was going with that was, when I was midway through Heir of Fire, I accidentally looked up just a question that I had about Heir of Fire, of just like, I don't even remember what my question was, but basically, I ended up accidentally getting spoiled to the entire rest of the series. But at that time, I wasn't putting the connections together of like, oh, Selena is Aelin and Aelin is Selena, and they're the same person. So I'm just like, who's this Aelin person and why is she fighting? Like, where did this Aelin person come from? And so because of that, I just got so spoiled to the rest of it that I'm like, that doesn't quite seem that interesting. I'm done with this series.
I'll tell you right now, though, it was so funny to get her to read it, because then she was just like, I know things. And I was like, no, bitch, you don't. You know nothing.
I knew some things.
Here's the thing. This series is one of those most spoiled ones, but still takes motherfuckers by surprise. Because there is so much more to it than just a couple. I feel like everyone gets spoiled to the Aelin thing. Most people do. But there is so much more that is not spoiled, that even if there were a couple of things that people did, it's the base surface.
Right. It's basically like the cliff notes that you get spoiled to, and then it's like, well, you don't actually know how all of them intertwine. And for example, with Assassin's Blade, you know, if you didn't read that first, like I didn't, you know, I just read Throne of Glass first, and I read Crown of Midnight and half of Heir of Fire, and I just read that first. And then when I went back and, you know, started reading it again with my teacher, it was just like, wait, so there's a book I should have read first? Okay, I guess I'll read that. Oh, this is like connecting a lot of things, and wow, aw.
I think if I'm going back originally to what I said about the death of her character, or like the reemergence of this mask that Selena hides on, first of all, the first 3 books at all. And I'm saying first 3 books as in translation, Assassin's Blade, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight.
Mm-hmm. In the future, that's how we're going to respond to it.
Yes, the first 3 books. Is that she has a lot of faith in Arabin, in the Assassin's Keep, I like that we get to see that downfall before anything else. And knowing why she's so distrustful of people. Yeah, Dorian comes all in there schmoozy or whatever, but he's Otterlin. He's technically one of like the good guys in this case, but they're not good. Because we get to see that in the Assassin's Blade, in more than her like perspective, we get to even see Irene talk about like how she lost her mother and to the Empire. We get to see so many of these references to the Empire. that when Throne of Glass happened, it was like, oh, these motherfuckers? Hell no. I'm going to use them to get whatever I want. And then, of course, romance ensues. There's like, it's really that after that first book, and because we talked about this in our first episode, Claire, but you know, it's a thing in theater where why is the book happening now? There's a change and a shift. There's something different than the norm of the everyday. The death of Ben, the death of who most people don't remember, but that was like her confidant in the Assassin's Keep. And
Her
the
first
whole
mentor.
Yes. The whole Ralph story caused a cascade of distrust and disloyalty to Arabin. Because right after that, he beat her up and fucking
And he
whooped.
had never beat her up like that before.
No, he broke her hand, tried to, teach her some lessons, but like actually beating her up and sending her away, like that was her downfall in thinking that like, I want to be the queen of assassins anymore.
Right, because like that was the first time it's like, oh, I don't have this bubble of protege around me anymore. Like he, in a way, I messed up by going against his orders. Now he's mad at me. Now he's beating me up and sending me away for punishment. Like she's no longer the perfect protege anymore.
Over something that was as important as freeing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got to see that he did not give a fuck about prisoners, or like it was a test. The whole thing was a test. He didn't care about those slaves at all. He literally was just like, I will push her boundaries. I will test her loyalty. And she failed his test.
I mean, but also like at the same time, it's like that, like you're saying, like that was kind of her breaking point of like, oh, there's a crack in this relationship now because, oh, wait, he is dealing in slaves. No, I will not stand for that. And you know what? I'm going to go a step further and free these slaves because it's the right thing to do. And like, even when in Assassin and the Healer, she's like, yeah, I'm really fucking pissed because it's like, yeah, I went against him and, it was the right thing to do. But like, what the fuck, Arabin?
And I think, Claire, there was something mentioned in, oh my God. I think it's Queen of Shadows where like, it's the grossest but most interesting of relationships. I mean, we all hate Arabin. I mean,
oh yeah.
Good God. But she said, he's somehow my brother, my friend, my father and lover all at the same time.
Incestuous.
And I'm like, the fuck? Because
yeah, and then there was even the part where it's like, and then he looked at her in a way that was not that of a father or brother, and it's like, okay, weirdo.
Very weirdo. And it's I mean, obviously this is much later down the line in the series, but it's like just the whole idea of him sleeping with Lysandra and then like wanting to actually be with Aelin once he finds out, well, he already knew who she was, but like once he sees her come into her own and stuff like that, and he's just gross.
Pitting them against each other.
Yeah.
It didn't take long for them to actually, like, I think it was just chocolate that they were like, okay, we're friends, like, he sucks.
Yeah.
They
worked together to kill him.
Yeah.
I liked, Claire, you bring up such a good point. I liked to see that there was a naivete. They were 16, and Arabin was the person who could give them what they wanted. And so they kind of had to go with it to survive, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, it's so interesting because, like I tell you guys all the time, they're foils. All of these women are foils of Celaena herself, Celaena Aelin. And Lysandra also took the path that was easier. And easy as in quotation marks. She did Arabin's bidding and was with him that entire time while she stood against him and ended up in Endovir. Two terrible situations, but like, it's like one made the decision to like continue to be with him and then fucking hated her life, saw the people she cared about get killed while still feeling like she could do nothing. Whilst then Celaena felt the same way, just like, but again, went against him and still lost.
Yeah.
So,
and then they end up working together.
That was good. I mean, that's something about the writing and her SJM's writing that I do care about, that it's like, but I liked to see the innocent naivete back in the day, like when she throws the knife at her. Like, I mean, that whole thing,
yes,
where Arabin used the money that Celaena won to help all those people in the Silent Assassin and used it to buy Lysandra. Just one night.
Specifically, her first time.
Yeah, her virginity, her first time. That I could understand would be the fucking biggest insult ever.
I was going to bring up the knife scene too, because it comes up in Queen of Shadows again, and I thought another just really like, honestly, this is just me, like, using the chance to just, like, roast Arabin left and right, which, like, valid. But,
Good.
just thinking about, right, like, if anyone deserves it. But, I was just thinking about how messed up it is when they're having dinner with him. So it's Lysandra, Solalin, and then...
No, that's
Love
true.
it.
Yeah, and then, Rowan and Adian.
Yeah.
And, Arabin brings it up with Lysandra and is talking about it like it's so funny. And it's very much deliberate. Like, there's other men here that he's trying to embarrass them in front of, like, women will just fight over anything. And we kept that knife in the wall as a reminder because we missed her so much. And it's, shut up, I hate you so much. But, like, it's a very psychological tactic.
And it's interesting to see that we got to, like, especially when you read it early on, that you got to see that level of, because even Selena in the first, like, 3, I don't think it's really until the last novella in Assassin's Blade where she gets that Arabin's just a monster. Even though she doesn't trust him, there's still a level of wanting to please him, wanting to, bring back and, like, come back and get her place back.
She thinks he might come and save her still.
Yeah.
Letters.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to... Sorry, go ahead. I don't think I had anything else to say, so yeah, go ahead.
Just a train of no.
We
Go
all
ahead.
did
No,
it.
you.
Blah, 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 blah.
I think like the most like that I felt it finally like being a final thing, not any hope left about Arabin, was when she found out that he was behind what happened to Sam. I think that was like the final thing. Like it had all been adding up, of course, but then that was like the final nail in the coffin.
And you know what's even fucked about that, Liesl? Even by the end, when she's in the wagon, she knows it was him. But the thing is, she's still like, but it's not 100%.
She has this gut feeling.
No.
Yeah.
There's a gut feeling, but she's still defending him a little bit. And that's what the and Claire said it right. And especially, like, it's definitely giving, like, a good mental health lesson for everyone, that there is this indebtedness that she feels to him. Because he pulled her out of the river and saved her, quote unquote, but made her go through years of emotional, physical, psychological abuse. But she still cared. And then
he basically molded her into that person where, like, true loyalty is what, she was feeling. Even when she was, like, hating him of, like, I'm leaving you. I don't want to be around you anymore. Like, there was still that thing in her head that was telling her, but what if?
And you know what's it's going to make me tear up. What makes me love Queen of Shadows so much is that, like, the fact that Rowan is beside her, but also at the same time, like, Rowan is a fey male. Someone who cannot be easily killed. While at the same time, she's fucking terrified of Arabin. Still, even though she's also fey herself, partially so. Again, magic hasn't been released yet, but, like, because Rowan is at a disadvantage because he doesn't have his magic, there's still a level of scaredness that she has, and that's the beautiness Italian's kiss of this writing, is that he had such an impact that even after all of her growth, after all that, we get into when we finally see him, that she shakes. I remember, like, when she got into, like, the carriage, when he tried fucking manipulate her or whatever, tried to get her, tried to make her kiss him or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
The ring thing?
Yes, the ring thing. She was shaking when she got in the carriage back to Rowan, and she's like, wow. I knew he was a monster, but I also, like, just got to see it firsthand again.
Yeah. And then, of course, they got to see it, too.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, a little side note, though, I did appreciate, I know, and I'm so excited to get to it, but the whole, like, thanks for the oil, man. From Rowan, I was like, okay, get you a guy like that. But I also, speaking of that, I think that there's also another beautiness to why I like having the Assassin's Blade first, is that we get to see that she had multiple love interests. That it was like, we get to have the death of Sam. We also then, obviously, Kael wasn't a great second, but her and Dorian had a tryst.
Dorian was like a 1.5.
Dorian was like, and we'll talk about this later, of course, but, like, Dorian was like kind of her, okay, I can love again. He helped her a lot after a Sam effect. It's like, I could love you, but the thing is, you don't know that I can't be with you. We're on two different sides, man. Like, I think you're a good person, but I cannot marry a man of Adarlan. Or not even just a man of Adarlan, the crown of Adarlan.
Literally.
Then with Kael, of course, like, realizing that he kind of was a Sam.
Chestnut brown hair.
He was a Sam not in actions, but the fact that he was like, even though he was a noble, it was like the idea that because we know that she's a princess, that she's like the savior going to be a queen, right? He was an easy choice in the sense of, I just still find it funny that he was like a lord's son, right? Ostracized, wasn't going to be the lord anymore, right? And then he's like, he thinks that he's above her in terms of rank. And then figuring out that she's like the princess of a long lost kingdom and she's literally the queen. And he's like, oh my God, I've been talking to the queen like this. Like, it's, first of all, it's a slap in the face because he needed one. But
yeah,
I like the progression of the romance in this series. I like that we get to see that death early on. I like to see her slowly be able to fall in love again. And then also get fucking demolished by Kaol, that second love, saying that she's a monster, all that stuff, and then eventually finding the one. And I think that's a big part about the romance in this series, and Sam started that. And it's like, oh my God, it's a teardrop.
Oh, Sam.
But I also liked to see how big of an impact Irene was going to have. I like getting to meet her so early on. And she has the smallest book, too. She has the smallest novella, but such an important moment.
And I think we have more POVs from her in The Healer than actually Selena's.
Yes. When I was reading The Assassin, The Healer, Liesl brings up a very good point. I think the third POV from this series are the gods watching them. Mm-hmm. Because as I'm reading back, and especially The Assassin's Blade, we're seeing like the third POV narrator and the omniscient presence kind of lingering and scared of Aelin a little bit. Because as I was reading The Assassin and the Healer again, that's what I got in my director brain, right? When I was thinking about it, I was like, who is this person? Like, how would they sound? This narration, how would it sound? I was like, oh my God. Like, they're scared of her.
And it specifically, like, kept always, I mean, obviously, Irene didn't get Selena's name at the time. So it was like constantly talking about this girl this, this girl that. But I think you're right in the sense of like, it was always, oh my God, this girl is so scary.
There was a biasness towards her being like intimidating, but also intriguing. Mm-hmm. While at the same time stay away, but she seems very important.
Yeah.
I also think it's funny that Irene turns out to be such a big character later on. I think that was the first time that I saw something like that. Because, you know, Empire, we got to see Ralph, we got to see Ansel again for a short time. We got to see literally everyone else.
I did not expect to see Ansel again.
No, that was, oh my God, guys. The Queen of Shadows moment where she's just like in the pits and she's like, I'm Ansel of Briarcliff. And I'm like looking at her like, I haven't heard that fucking name in a long time.
She was so extra in that scene. It made me laugh. When she's like holding up her arms and like turning around for the crowd.
Like, let you guys know, I am Ansel of Briarcliff. Can she hear me? Is this on? Okay. But then, of course, because we got to see everyone else, and then all of a sudden, we get to Tower of Dawn, and, like, I didn't even think we'd ever see her again. And then all of a sudden, she's, like, this fucking huge plot point character. That just cemented in why I think SJM is one of my, not even just one of my God tier author. Whether she wrote this at the end of Queen of Shadows or not, there was a plan there, and I love a good setup. And it just made me appreciate her writing so much more, because I was like, wow, she had a plan for this character very early on. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we got to, another reason why I put Assassin's Blade, I have to like always say that, the fuck. Another big reason why I put it first, because it's almost like we got to live that experience with Irene in the terms of, we get to Tower of Dawn, and it's like, we remember this girl, we know who it is, there's this excitement to meet again.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because, what was it? Not yesterday, but sometime in the past week, basically, I was rereading Assassin and the Healer because, you know, that's our episode 2 that we're going to be recording.
Yes.
And so I was rereading it, but just before I started rereading it, I had just started Tower of Dawn, and so it was like I stopped Tower of Dawn right on the phrase that was like, I have this note from this woman who wore her scars like jewelry. And then I went back and started reading The Healer again. And it's like, I'm like, oh, this is like word for word. a woman who wears her scars like some people wear their fine jewelry. It's like, damn, Sarah really, like, copy-pasted, like, had a plan for this woman. And going from scared Irene in The Healer all the way up to where she's, like, besties with the healer on high. And, you know, she's, like, this known healer, and she's got all of these... This is so good. Like, I always love a callback. I always do. And it's like, she wouldn't have gotten there if it weren't for Selena.
That scene, and again, maybe that's why the Assassin's Blade scenes are so important, because they all have, like, a fun bit of real life to them. Where honestly, that's one of my favorite novella books. Even though it's not necessarily so much story-wise, more kind of like what would you call a filler episode? Mm-hmm. In an anime?
Yeah, a filler arc.
It's the idea that when I look back at that scene, her talking about how she'd rather be starving on the streets of Antica than living in this town where, like, nothing's happening and she's stuck. It's like that constant reminder that all of us need, that there's always a choice. It might not always be easy, but there is one. And it's kind of like a smack in the face to be like, you know, follow your dreams, damn it. You got one life to live and you're just sitting here thinking that you're stuck in this scenario. Fucking kill that bitch and just leave. Again, they didn't kill that guy, but it was it's funny that you guys, because how I thought about it is that she got triggered by Arabin. She thought about how she feels indebted to Arabin in that way, and that was her telling herself to get out.
I mean, like you always say, they're foils of each other. Like, Irene and Selena were also foils, just also in, like, literally the way that you're saying it of, you know, Irene got, I mean, obviously we'll go into this when we talk about this in the episode, but like Irene got stuck there in Inish of, like, she's like, okay, I'll stay here for a month. And then, you know, she kept getting more and more in debt and, you know, needing more money, but, like, needing to pay it back and her wages being taken. And that's, like, basically the same thing Arabin did to Selena of, like, finding some way to keep her in debt. So I completely agree with what you're saying there.
Yeah. And like Claire said, even Lysandra, even at the beginning, foils of each other there. Just one of them's a courtesan and one of them's an assassin, and they had to fight different battles, but both being indebted to the different people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, there's so much nuance. There's so many, like, spoiler moments in all of these. I will say the funniest part about maybe you'll laugh about this, Claire. The beach scene when we did our episode about the assassin, the pirate lord. I'll write spoiler notes in my margins, and Liesl's going through them before the episode, and she goes, because I said there's a so
just
do you
like
remember?
Facepalm.
She did. She put a facepalm emoji. The beach scene in the first episode, or sorry, the first novella is the beach scene where her and Rowan are at later in Empire. They're on the same beach.
Obviously not the, I mean, yeah, same beach, but, like, obviously it's not the exact same situation as, like, Sam and Selena were fighting and Aelin and Rowan were fucking. But, you know, Selena and her mate and Aelin and her mate.
Yeah, there you go.
It's funny to read these back, and, like, that's again why I love these spoiler episodes so much, is because when you get to the end and then you reread it, you're like, oh my god, that's the scene. Oh my god, this was like, hold on.
Okay, the only thing that I didn't connect between those two moments was that it was the same beach. And that's like, she ran to that after, like, seeing the slaves.
Yeah.
With Sam. She ran to that beach, and then that was the same thing. She ran to that beach after the thing in Skull's Bay.
Oh yeah, it was after the big battle, and they were like, nah, this ain't it.
She literally ran to not to both places, both times to the same beach.
I would run too. She got possessed. That was kind of fucking wild.
Freaky. Stupid gods.
But yeah, speaking of, so we're going to have more amazing people on these spoiler episodes, but I do want to highlight Claire is one of my most favorite person that sends me not spoiler content, but in the sense of, like, overlapping things. And so we're going to get into it more as we go on. But like I said before to you guys, in this, because Throne of Glass and ACOTAR, we've done ACOTAR already, there's going to be a little bit of crossover. Not in the sense of their worlds are meeting and colliding, but in the sense of there is a lot of references from ACOTAR to Throne of Glass that just fucking blows our minds and is always something in the back of my mind, even when I'm doing daily tasks.
Mm-hmm.
So Claire, we're going to have a whole episode where you talk about this, but I want you to give a little bit of tidbit of what your big theory is in these.
Generally. So there's a theory that I had heard about, a crossover theory between the two series involving a character from ACOTAR and a character from Throne of Glass. And I've been talking to Tabi and Liesl about this for a while, and I'm so excited because I wasn't expecting it to take over my life, but it kind of has. And so I'm looking forward to coming back in a future episode and maybe spilling a little tea, shall we say.
Ooh.
We love the tea.
It's crazy because it's like I've never read a series before where like it was by the same author and there were so many like subtle references to stuff before. And I know we'll get to do it more as we go along, but I think if I want to tell you guys like my first instance where I was like, "Oh my god, this is an ACOTAR thing," was probably in Crown of Midnight when they were in the library and there was a book that was referenced I think it was like when her and Dorian were, it was that whole scene where like the monster came out from behind like the iron door and whatever.
The failed experiment.
And it was like, she called it, there was something called like the Book of Breathings.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking freaked out. I like was like, ah! Whoa, because okay.
Circle.
Hold on, bitch. There is no way that you made a couple series. And the fact that she wrote that book before ACOTAR made me so, oh my god, this is a crossover thing. I was like, this made me so fucking pumped, and that's why, again, God tier. There's nothing to compare. There are so many of these moments. Or the fact that I'll say kind of subtly at first is how different the rules are. It makes me question sometimes the ACOTAR rules. Because the whole iron door thing, iron's not supposed to do shit to like magical shit. Like magical whatever. But in Throne of Glass, magic is everything. Or sorry, iron is everything to quell magic. And so I had like so many questions. I was like, wait. Was Papa Archeron right all the way back in the first book? Does iron actually do something? Or does this magic work differently? I don't know.
I mean, the one thing that I first saw with the potential crossover sort of thing, which of course we could always talk about in our later spoiler episodes, was, in what Papa Archeron paid the merchant to paint on the door. It's like swirls and carvings and swirls and stuff. And then we get into Throne of Glass, it's like, word marks?
They're word marks. I will fucking bet my life on it. I don't even care.
I just have this gut feeling Papa Archeron knew way more than any of us ever thought. He wasn't just a mere human. He wasn't just a human who was a prince of merchants. He didn't know nothing. If anything, he was a prince of merchants. He traveled.
Honestly, I thought that maybe like, because you know my theory about like how I think water is like so influential in this series.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he was trying to protect from the magic of another world, but like got messed up. And so it's like, oh, iron, word marks, whatever, they can protect with against magic, but not these guys.
It's so funny to me just because, obviously we, calling back to our ACOTAR series of like, we had the theory that Mama Archeron was, related to the mother in some sort of way. But like, there's like this whole new theory now that I have is that Mama and Papa Archeron came from another one of these worlds.
Oh. So you think
like,
maybe
did they come from one of these other worlds and came to here? Or came to Fifth?
Actually, oh my god, Claire, you're stirring. Oh, this is so great. Sorry. It's like, what if they did come from another world and they were like, because we never saw Papa Archeron before, like obviously the end of like an ACOWAR and whatever, deal with any of the Fae. What if like he thought the rules? He's like, oh, well, these are the rules that I was told. And then obviously these rules don't work with these Fae. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, what was your, I guess, besides your big theory, what was like the first instance where, kind of like with my book thing, that you were like, this is an ACOTAR thing, or wait, I'm like...
Yeah, I went into Throne of Glass kind of wanting to look for similarities because I'd already heard, like, I don't know, rumblings that there was, connections people were making. Certainly not the one that I ended up most, like, hyper fixating on, but like, you know, just like little things that I might be able to connect. And they said something in the first book about someone, I feel like it's pretty early on, or maybe after she gets to the castle, but like someone stirring like a giant cauldron, and I'm like, oh, cauldron boil me. That's something I recognize.
Cauldron boil me.
You know what actually I think my first reference was the poison. It was like the belladonna flower or whatever the fuck that she talks about.
Yeah.
It was it's not the same reference as like the Akatar thing, but it was like the same reference of poison. And I was like, hold on.
Hold on.
Okay.
I still get so excited when I see these like little references every now and then.
I mean, okay, so I know because we haven't had the time to talk about that, so I hadn't been able to share that particular theory that Papa Artron and Mama Artron might be from from another one of Sarah's Maasverses. Or, yeah, the Tog World or whatever, but, well, probably it'd have to be the Tog World, because I don't know the Crescent City world. But anyway, but it was like, he's from that world, potentially, but then that would go back into my other correct theory that we've talked about in the series before, of how the hell did Papa Artron make a deal with Kostje to get Vasa?
Right.
Because, you know, I think we talked about it a little bit before, that these death gods could potentially have come from another world. So it's like, okay, well, maybe then Papa Artron was using the rules from the Tog world to apply to get Kostje to let go of Vasa.
Well, because it's weird, because the word marks are one of those things that like kind of supersedes magic, because
it's almost like a primal magic rather than the current magic that they have.
It's the raw magic, which makes me think that there's some connection to Nesta in a way, in terms of like her having the raw cauldron magic. That kind of because that, you know, overseeded even the prison barriers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the fact that, you know, the magic was covered up for so many years, but the word marks were still allowed to work, makes me think that, well, because isn't there markings on the cauldron too?
I think so.
Fuck, those probably are markings. Though I will say, you guys do remember that during ACOWAR, the Book of Breathings got sucked up in the cauldron. That's in one of the other worlds. I swear to fucking God.
Now we just got to figure out when the timeline is. Was Tog World at the same time as Akatar? Yeah. Was it before? Probably after.
So I'm gonna be real with you. I think I straight up lied to you. I don't think it's the Book of Breathings, but there was another book that was mentioned that was, because that one's too on the nose, right?
Yeah.
There was another book that was mentioned that was like, that was an Akatar thing. So I totally probably fucked that up, but the Book of Breathings is in another world. It has to be. It went into that abyss and hasn't been seen again. So where did it go? Big brain. I'm not dumb. I was not born last night. I'm somewhere. God, this is why I don't have a boyfriend. Like this. I think about this shit too much. But yes, back on. So again, I'm so excited for this because there are so many, and like again, we get to read it again as we go along and see so much more than even I already know. Even reading the first 2 books of the Assassin's Blade again made me think all these things. And again, it's hard to have those nuanced conversations while we're doing the deep dive, because as the reader, we don't know about some of those things that lead up later. So it's not only fun to talk about the spoilery things and the Maasverse things, but also talking about how these impacted the story moving forward. And to have, so I'm so excited to have you on again to talk about, I want to see this PowerPoint. I want to see this. Well, I mean, for
anyone who doesn't know, Claire has amazing PowerPoints.
Oh yeah, because I did have that other one that was sort of Akatar adjacent too.
Yes, agreed. And so I'm excited to go on this spoiler journey with everyone. I'm excited to talk about these things because I think we've all been dying to. Because when we talk about Akatar, it's like, oh my God, there's an error.
There's a
You missed my sounds. Well, that sounds really bad. Sounds really bad.
I'm sorry. I just thought of the ACOWAR scene when it's like, don't you just love that little sound she makes? It's
just like have an insert there.
Me when I'm having sex. No, that's it. No. When I'm having sex, I'm laughing. I'm just like, I'm a.
You know, like a crow cough.
I love to make fun of myself.
Okay, I feel like that's a new Tabiism, though, of just a specifically with the finger.
Honestly, it's like it's the neurodivergent coming out, where it's like you only can make sounds when you're trying to describe something. Like I can't. The thing is, I can't explain that sound in any certain way.
Right.
So I just have to use a sound, and it's like it's literally that thing
Womp.
where neurodivergents talk to each other in sound. So
Yes, we do.
welcome if you guys don't already know. But yes, thank you for coming on again so much.
Thank you for having me. It was so fun to be back, and I love, talking about these books and just seeing you and talking and just being, ourselves together and talking about these books.
Yeah, being able to talk, because it's like it's really fun to have you on, because it's like not only because ever since we've done our last episode we've grown as friends, but it's fun to just kind of not having a script, in the sense of we know what we're going to talk about, but also at the same time, even I had stuff that I wasn't even planning to tell you guys, but that just popped up while we were talking. And I was like, oh, I remember this thing, and da-da-da, and, whatever. So it's, that's what makes a conversation like this go on for 4 hours.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, and I don't even know the book as well, the series as well as both of you, because Claire's actually finished it. But, but like, I'm still, I guess, in a way new to the series in the way that I haven't reread it. So this is going to be my reread. So I'm going to be noticing a lot of this stuff. So it's like, I kind of went into this like mini episode being like, okay, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, but here we are. And it was a wonderful conversation. And I'm so glad that we got to bring you on, Claire.
Me too.
I think this is my 5th reread of this entire series. So, champ. I win.
A connoisseur.
An SJM a connoisseur for sure. So yes. So again, it was so great to have you on, and I'm so excited to bring you back again. Just for cliffhanger's sake, why don't you say the 2 characters that you think?
You want
just
me
to
to
give
that are connected.
I love to talk about them. Might as well say their names. So from ACOTAR, it's the Suriel, and then from Throne of Glass, it's my queen, Caltaine Rompier.
Hey,
yeah.
I
can't wait to hear the tea.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, you guys don't get anything.
Not even our outro of bye or socials or anything like that. Just cut it off there and go to the music.
Nope, just a fake exit. But yes, yes, and follow Claire's social media as well. And join the Discord. Very active in the Discord. What's your bookish Instagram? Well,
I think it's CJE95. I'm out of not Discord. I'm out of Instagram time for today, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're in our like Instagram at somewhere, so we'll put them in the description as well.
Look for CJ.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So follow our Instagram, our TikTok. We're doing our archive videos on YouTube. We're getting there through season 1.
And I did want to say about that, as this week it's been posted, but next week we will be going straight to season 1, episode 4, skipping over season 1, episode 3, because the video was completely messed up on that.
Yeah, so there are gonna be it's almost like once a season where Riverside just ate up our actual footage, or it was messed up in some way where there'd be no point in watching it.
Yeah.
So we're just not gonna have an episode there. But yeah, so I'm so excited to begin. It's just the beginning of Throne of Glass. So we will be on this ride for a while. So I hope you guys all have a good night, day, whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you guys all in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Mountains hum their quiet tune, a silver thread of rising moon. Footsteps fall like drops of dew. The earth that breathes the stories untold. Your heart, the compass steady and bold. Wanderer, keep moving on. Every shadow leads to dawn. Find your place where